Most people think controlling blood sugar and losing belly fat requires strict diets, intense exercise, or complicated supplements. But in reality, one of the most overlooked tools is something far simpler, a specific leaf that directly affects insulin sensitivity, inflammation, and fat storage. This leaf has been used traditionally for metabolic health, but modern research now shows how its natural compounds influence blood sugar regulation at the cellular level. It helps slow glucose absorption, improve insulin response, and reduce the inflammatory signals that promote fat storage around the abdomen. What makes this leaf especially powerful is that it doesn't just target blood sugar or fat in isolation. It works on both at the same time by supporting liver function, improving glucose uptake, and calming metabolic stress that keeps insulin resistance active. In this video, we'll break down how this leaf works inside the body, the specific compounds responsible for its effects, how it helps control blood sugar naturally, and why it may support reductions in stubborn belly fat over time. We'll also cover the safest and most effective ways to use it daily without relying on extreme approaches. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this single leaf has gained attention for metabolic health and how to use it properly as part of a long-term blood sugar strategy. Belly fat is not just a cosmetic issue. In people with diabetes or insulin resistance, excess fat around the abdomen is one of the strongest indicators of poor blood sugar control. This type of fat, known as visceral fat, is metabolically active and directly interferes with insulin signaling. Visceral fat releases inflammatory compounds and stress hormones that disrupt how insulin works inside the body. These signals make muscle and liver cells less responsive to insulin, forcing the pancreas to produce more just to keep blood sugar stable. Over time, this leads to worsening insulin resistance and higher fasting glucose levels. One of the most important organs affected by belly fat is the liver. The liver plays a central role in blood sugar regulation by storing and releasing glucose as needed. When visceral fat surrounds the liver, it increases liver insulin resistance, causing excess glucose to be released into the bloodstream, especially overnight and between meals. This is why many people with belly fat struggle with high morning blood sugar, even if they don't eat late at night. The liver becomes overactive due to insulin resistance, pushing glucose into the bloodstream when it's not needed. Belly fat also increases levels of free fatty acids in the blood. These fatty acids interfere with insulin signaling and worsen inflammation throughout the body. As insulin resistance increases, fat storage becomes easier and fat loss becomes harder, creating a vicious cycle. Importantly, this process is not driven by calories alone. Hormones, inflammation, and liver function play a much larger role. This is why some people struggle to lose belly fat despite eating less or exercising more. Blood sugar instability further worsens this cycle. Frequent spikes and crashes increase insulin release, which promotes fat storage, especially in the abdominal area. High insulin levels signal the body to store energy, not burn it, making belly fat particularly stubborn. Chronic inflammation ties these problems together. Inflammation from visceral fat worsens insulin resistance, and insulin resistance promotes further fat storage. Breaking this cycle requires improving insulin sensitivity and calming inflammatory signaling, not just cutting calories. This is where certain plant compounds become relevant. Some natural compounds directly support liver function, reduce inflammation, and improve insulin responsiveness. By addressing these underlying mechanisms, they can help stabilize blood sugar and reduce the signals that promote belly fat storage. Leaves used in traditional medicine often contain polyphenols, antioxidants, and bioactive compounds that target these pathways. Unlike stimulants or aggressive fat burners, These compounds work by restoring balance to metabolic systems rather than forcing rapid weight loss. Improving liver insulin sensitivity allows glucose to be stored properly instead of released unnecessarily. Reducing inflammation improves insulin signaling throughout the body. Together, these changes make it easier for the body to access stored fat for energy over time. This is why addressing insulin resistance is essential for both blood sugar control and reducing belly fat. Without fixing insulin signaling, fat loss efforts often stall and blood sugar remains unstable. In the next section, we'll introduce the specific leaf that has been shown to support these processes and explain how its compounds work inside the body to influence blood sugar and fat metabolism. The leaf we're talking about is bay leaf. While most people think of bay leaves as a simple cooking ingredient, this leaf contains powerful bioactive compounds that directly affect blood sugar regulation, insulin sensitivity, and fat metabolism. Bay leaves are rich in polyphenols, flavonoids, and essential oils that help improve how the body processes glucose. These compounds influence insulin signaling pathways, making cells more responsive to insulin and allowing glucose to move out of the bloodstream more efficiently. One of the most important effects of bay leaf is its impact on insulin sensitivity. Studies have shown that compounds in bay leaves can improve insulin receptor activity, meaning insulin doesn't have to work as hard to lower blood sugar. This leads to smoother glucose levels and reduced insulin demand over time. Bay leaf also affects digestive enzymes involved in carbohydrate breakdown. By slightly slowing the digestion of starches and sugars, bay leaf helps reduce rapid glucose absorption after meals. This results in smaller blood sugar spikes and more stable post-meal readings. Another critical role of bay leaf is its effect on the liver, the organ that controls glucose storage and release. Bay leaf compounds help reduce liver insulin resistance, allowing the liver to store glucose properly instead of releasing excess sugar into the bloodstream between meals. Because the liver plays a central role in both blood sugar control and fat metabolism, improving liver function has downstream effects on belly fat storage. When the liver becomes more insulin sensitive, the body is better able to switch from fat storage to fat usage. Bay leaf also has strong anti-inflammatory properties, which is critical for diabetics. Chronic inflammation interferes with insulin signaling and promotes fat accumulation, especially in the abdominal area. By reducing inflammatory stress, bay leaf helps restore healthier metabolic signaling throughout the body. Another benefit of bay leaf is its effect on lipid metabolism. Elevated blood fats often accompany insulin resistance and contribute to belly fat accumulation. Bay leaf compounds help improve how fats are processed and stored, reducing the metabolic stress that drives abdominal fat gain. Research has shown that regular bay leaf consumption is associated with improvements in fasting blood sugar, post-meal glucose levels, and markers of insulin resistance. Some studies have also observed reductions in waist circumference over time when bay leaf is used consistently as part of a balanced routine. Bay leaf does not act as a stimulant or fat burner. Instead, it works by restoring metabolic balance, improving insulin sensitivity, calming inflammation, and supporting liver function. This is why its effects may feel subtle at first, but become more noticeable with consistent use. Another advantage of bay leaf is that it is well tolerated when used correctly. Unlike aggressive supplements, it does not overstimulate the nervous system or spike stress hormones. This makes it suitable for long-term use as a supportive tool for blood sugar and metabolic health. It's important to note that bay leaf works best as part of a routine that includes balanced meals, hydration, and medical guidance when needed. It does not replace medication, but it can support the body's natural ability to regulate blood sugar and reduce fat storage signals. In the next section, we'll talk about how to use bay leaf daily, including the best preparation methods, timing, and practical tips to maximize benefits while avoiding common mistakes. Knowing that bay leaf can support blood sugar control is only useful if it's used correctly. The benefits come from consistent, gentle use, not from large doses or aggressive methods. Bay leaf works best when it becomes part of a routine rather than a one-time fix. One of the most common ways to use bay leaf is as a tea. Bay leaf tea allows the active compounds to be released into water, making them easy to absorb and gentle on digestion. This method is especially useful for supporting blood sugar control between meals and overnight. To prepare bay leaf tea, dried bay leaves are typically simmered in hot water for several minutes. This extracts the polyphenols and essential oils responsible for its metabolic effects. The tea should be mild, not bitter. A strong, harsh taste usually means too much leaf was used. Bay leaf can also be added directly to cooked meals, especially soups, stews, and slow-cooked dishes. Cooking allows the compounds to infuse into food gradually, supporting digestion and glucose regulation during meals. This approach works well for people who prefer not to drink herbal teas. Timing matters. Bay leaf is most effective when used consistently, either daily or several times per week. Some people prefer using it earlier in the day to support blood sugar stability, while others find benefits using it in the evening to support overnight glucose control. Moderation is critical. Using too many bay leaves or consuming overly concentrated preparations can irritate the digestive system and cause discomfort. More is not better. The goal is steady support, not forcing rapid changes. Bay leaf should always be removed from food before eating. Whole bay leaves are tough and not meant to be consumed directly. Their benefits come from infusion, not ingestion. It's also important to pay attention to individual response. Blood sugar reactions can vary. Tracking fasting, glucose, post-meal readings, and overall energy levels can help determine how well bay leaf fits into your routine. Bay leaf works best alongside balanced meals that include protein, fiber, and healthy fats. These foods slow glucose absorption and reduce insulin demand, allowing bay leaf's supportive effects to work more effectively. People taking blood sugar medications should introduce bay leaf gradually and monitor readings closely. While bay leaf is a food-based option, it can enhance insulin sensitivity, which may affect glucose levels when combined with medication. Bay leaf is not a quick fat loss solution. Reductions in belly fat occur gradually as insulin sensitivity improves and inflammatory signals decrease. Over time, this makes fat storage less aggressive and fat usage more accessible. When used correctly, bay leaf becomes a low-effort, sustainable tool that supports both blood sugar control and metabolic health without stressing the body. In the next section, we'll summarize the key points and explain how bay leaf fits into a long-term strategy for managing blood sugar and reducing belly fat naturally. Bay leaf does not work by forcing rapid weight loss or aggressively lowering blood sugar. Instead, it supports the underlying systems that determine whether the body stores fat or uses it for energy. This distinction is important because sustainable fat loss and stable blood sugar come from improved metabolic function, not short-term stimulation. One of the primary reasons bay leaf supports belly fat reduction is its effect on insulin levels. When insulin remains chronically elevated, the body is locked into fat storage mode. By improving insulin sensitivity, bay leaf helps lower the amount of insulin needed to manage blood sugar, reducing the signals that promote abdominal fat storage. Bay leaf also supports liver metabolism, which plays a major role in fat handling. When the liver becomes insulin resistant, it produces excess glucose and increases fat storage signals. By improving liver insulin sensitivity, bay leaf helps normalize glucose output and reduce metabolic stress that contributes to fat accumulation around the abdomen. Another key factor is inflammation. Chronic inflammation not only worsens insulin resistance, but also promotes fat storage by disrupting hormone signaling. Bay leaf's anti-inflammatory compounds help calm this process, creating a metabolic environment that favors fat utilization rather than fat storage. Blood sugar stability itself plays a role in fat loss. Frequent spikes and crashes increase insulin release and drive cravings, making it harder to maintain consistent eating patterns. By smoothing blood sugar fluctuations, bay leaf indirectly supports appetite control and energy stability, which are critical for long-term fat reduction. Bay leaf also influences oxidative stress, which damages cells and worsens insulin resistance over time. By reducing oxidative damage, bay leaf helps preserve insulin receptor function and metabolic efficiency. This protection allows the body to respond better to insulin and manage glucose more effectively. Another advantage of bay leaf is that it works gradually and predictably. There are no sudden drops in blood sugar, no stimulant effects, and no strain on the nervous system. This makes it suitable for long-term use, especially for people who are sensitive to aggressive supplements or restrictive approaches. It's important to understand that bay leaf is not a standalone solution. Its benefits are strongest when combined with balanced meals, hydration, movement, and medical guidance when needed. Used this way, it becomes a reliable support rather than a temporary fix. Over time, improved insulin sensitivity, reduced inflammation, and better liver function create the conditions needed for gradual belly fat reduction. Fat loss becomes easier not because calories are forced lower, but because the body is no longer fighting against insulin resistance. Bay leaf works quietly in the background, supporting the systems that regulate blood sugar and fat storage. When those systems function properly, both glucose control and body composition improve more naturally. In the final section, we'll briefly summarize how to use this leaf safely and consistently, and how it fits into a long-term strategy for managing blood sugar and metabolic health. Controlling blood sugar and reducing belly fat doesn't come from extreme diets or aggressive supplements. It comes from improving how the body responds to insulin, manages inflammation, and regulates glucose at the liver and cellular level. Bay leaf supports these processes by improving insulin sensitivity, calming inflammatory signaling, and helping the liver regulate glucose more effectively. Over time, this creates a metabolic environment where blood sugar becomes more stable and fat storage signals begin to quiet down. This isn't about quick results, it's about consistency. Small, regular habits that support insulin function make a meaningful difference when practiced over time. Used correctly, bay leaf can be a simple, sustainable addition to a long-term blood sugar routine. As always, introduce changes gradually, monitor your response, and speak with your healthcare provider if you're managing diabetes with medication. Supporting the body's natural balance is a process, and steady progress is what matters most. Controlling blood sugar and reducing belly fat doesn't come from extreme diets or aggressive supplements. It comes from improving how the body responds to insulin, manages inflammation, and regulates glucose at the liver and cellular level. Bay leaf supports these processes by improving insulin sensitivity, calming inflammatory signaling, and helping the liver regulate glucose more effectively. Over time, this creates a metabolic environment where blood sugar becomes more stable and fat storage signals begin to quiet down. This isn't about quick results, it's about consistency. Small, regular habits that support insulin function make a meaningful difference when practiced over time. Used correctly, bay leaf can be a simple, sustainable addition to a long-term blood sugar routine. As always, introduce changes gradually, monitor your response, and speak with your healthcare provider if you're managing diabetes with medication. Supporting the body's natural balance is a process, and steady progress is what matters most.